Well, good morning, everybody. Elias Kanaris here in sunny Tunbridge Wells in the UK with a very, very good friend of mine, Simon Clark. Simon and I went to university together. We went drinking together. We had a great friendship that's now lasted, crikey, far too many years to even admit. But Simon is a really good guy. And Simon is actually some guy that I really respect because he's got a lot of expertise around the area of security, especially around IT. And in a moment, I'm just going to get Simon to share a couple of ideas with me. As you know, Simon, I talk about disarming corporate terrorists, building and introducing trust as a business currency. Now, when you look at trust stands for Trust. It's about transparency, it's about a ring of steel, understanding risk, security, and then tracking. Now, when you think about the issues around cybercrime is costing us a staggering 600 billion US a year. 600 billion. That's $1.1 million a minute. And terrorism, crime, the lines are blurring. Is it terrorism from the external or terrorism from the internal? Crime's a crime, whether it's done through an employee or through an external force. Recently, there was a situation here in the UK where a major airline was breached in terms of somebody had cracked the code, let's say, and managed to scam out a whole number in the thousands, even hundreds of thousands of credit card details. What happened? How did that happen? And what did these guys do with that information?
Well, you're referring to BA.
Yeah.
And that was 380,000 cards.
Wow.
Stolen over a period of about 2 weeks. This was quite a unique attack by some Russians called MageCart.
Yeah.
What they did was they inserted 22 lines of code into BA's e-commerce site.
Yep.
And what that meant was that as an unsuspecting customer put their credit card details in, BA had no idea that it was being scammed or skimmed, and neither did the customer. So at the same time that as you pressed the submit button, your credit card details went to BA, and they also went to these Russian attackers.
Wow.
So this was an unusual attack because generally the attackers will break into an organization and steal the credit card details that are on a server already within the corporate perimeter. That means that the cards are not guaranteed to be current, the expiry date may have gone, and they don't have the CVV number on the back. So this attack was unique because the cards were absolutely up to date. The hackers knew that if people were trying to buy airline tickets, which are normally quite expensive, the cards would have credit on them. And as they skimmed them, they also got the CVV number as well. So they had 380,000 cards which were current, with credit on them, which they could then go and use.
So they can go and use this information. You're sitting there listening to Simon talk about these 380,000 credit card details. What are you going to do with that information? That's a lot of credit cards. You can't use them all in one go. What do these guys do with that information?
Well, often what they'll do is they'll plant those cards on the deep dark web and sell them. They'll sell them in batches. And they'll take anywhere between $10 and $20 per card.
Wow.
For those details. Now this was really rich information, so they could have sold that certainly for $20, if not more. But actually, what they did was they've set up a logistics company. So with those credit cards, they will go and buy high-value electronics goods, have them shipped to unsuspecting dispatch people who they advertise for. People who want to earn a little bit of extra cash will take receipt of these devices, this high-value kit, and then it will get returned back to the retailer, and that's how they launder the money.
Wow. So if you are sitting here and you're an organization, you've got some sort of external facing enterprise, whether it's a retail or an e-commerce, and probably a combination of both, and you're under potential risk of attack, what do you recommend? How would you address this? And what would you tell our audience here to do with protecting their environment and using security? What are the things that you would do?
Okay, there's probably three things that I could suggest today.
Yeah.
One is make sure that your staff are properly trained. That's a very typical way that the hackers get in. They'll send a phishing email, some kind of a link. The unsuspecting employee clicks on the link, and then malware is delivered to their device. And that malware will then go off and find the e-commerce site. So number one, train your staff.
Yeah.
Number two, make sure that all of your software is properly patched.
Yeah.
The hackers start to find vulnerabilities in code, and as the manufacturers clue up to that, they launch patches. It's really important to patch as soon as you possibly can. And the third one is, look, these e-commerce sites are internet facing, and they have to be internet facing because that's by nature what they're doing. You can buy services that will scan those services from anywhere in the world, all around the world. They will scan those services. So in the case of BA, for example, we would have been able to see that, firstly, that server that hadn't had any changes to it for 4 years had just had 22 lines of JavaScript added to it. So that was the number one flag to them. Number two, you can scan that bit of code and then advise the customer that, hey, look, that doesn't conform to your internal JavaScript architecture.
Yeah.
And number three, and this was the clever thing, which made it a very, very specific attack on BA, they'd put a domain in that 22 lines of code, which was baways.com. So that is not a BAways domain, but it looks like it to the uninitiated eye. So again, the monitoring service would have said, hey, look, we found a domain in your e-commerce site that doesn't belong to you. So there's 3 flags there.
Wow. So let me just summarize this, folks. That's incredible information in there. Now, as you look at this, there's 3 things, and there's 3 things as part of trust, T-R-U-S-T. You, understanding risk. It's about understanding the risk of your employees, your people, going there and being phished and attracting malware into the organization. There's the S, the security, is about adding the patches straight away when they are released so you can minimize the opportunity for somebody to come through. And then there's a T, there's the tracking. There's systems that will scan your external facing with intelligence, artificial intelligence that's in there, designed to capture things that you and I cannot do by ourselves, because you're looking at it from so many different viewpoints around the world, and that tracking is what helps to keep you safe. So it's about disarming corporate terrorists, internal and external threats, and introducing trust as a business currency. Bye for now.